Hey everybody, how's it going today? In this Illustrator CS6 tutorial, I'm going to go over some of the layer basics, such as selecting, deleting, moving around, and all that stuff with layers in a dedicated tutorial, so that way we can pretty much know what we're doing with the layers panel without any doubt. So open up your layers panel, and it's this side over here with the two squares that are on top of each other. If you don't have that open, go to Window and then go to Layers, and it'll open it for you. So you definitely need to have that open. So the first thing I want to show you is how to select the layers. And that may sound easy, but not everybody might know how to select the layers, and that's okay. So all you need to do to select a layer is go into your panel and just click. Now, there are other ways to select layers instead of what happens if you want to select a few layers. All right, so the way you do that is you select your first layer, and then you go down and you hold Shift to wherever the next layer is that you want to click, and then click, and it'll select more layers within that layer. So if I want to, and you have to be on the same level of layers or else it's not going to work, as I just tried. So you need to start on the layer and then select more. I'm going to add a few more layers just so we can try things out. So click your first layer, hold down Shift, and it'll select a bunch of layers in a row. Now if you need to select layers that aren't in a row, then you hold down the Control key. And then that way you can select different layers that aren't like right next to each other. Now if you have a bunch of layers selected and you accidentally selected a couple that you didn't want, you can hold down Control when they're already selected and select them, and it'll deselect the layers. If you want to just deselect all the layers, you can just click off and it will deselect them. Or you can go up into the select menu and go to, deselect's not on there, so don't worry about that. The next thing I need to show you is how to delete layers. You can click on a layer and then come down to this trash can down here where it says delete selection and click on it. It'll delete a layer for you. You can also bring down the layer and drag it right on top of the trash can. And those are the ways that you're going to be able to delete layers. Now, if you have an object or a layer that has a bunch of objects in it, and you want to select some of the objects on the artboard, then you're going to want to open up the layer by clicking this arrow here. It's going to open it up, and you're going to click on these little circles here, and that's going to allow you to select the object. If you just select the layer, it's not actually going to select an object, it's just going to select the layer. If you want to select all the objects in the layer, select the layer or hit the target button on the layer, and that pretty much selects everything in the layer. Now you can use the same principles to that we use when selecting layers to select more. Like if I hold Shift, I can add more, and if I shift click on one that has been selected already, I can deselect it. So you're not going to use Control, you're going to use Shift when you're clicking on these ones. And it's a little weird that they decided to do it that way and not use the original controls that you use for just doing layers, but when you're selecting objects, you want to use Shift. Now you don't have to always select the same things in the layer, or everything that's in the same layer. You can select things that are in different layers. So I can shift click this and I'll select everything that's in that layer. As you can see there. So you can see what's going on. You can select different things in different layers using the Shift button. If you want to arrange the layers around, say you got a couple layers that aren't in the right place, or paths that are in the wrong place, all you have to do is click and drag, and you can reorder them or put them in other layers. So if you want layer 5 to be on top of layer 1, so let me deselect these. I'm just going to select layer 5, which is this circle here. And right now it's on top of layer 1, so it's going to be over top of this square when I see it on the artboard. Well, if I drag it below layer 1, it's going to be behind the square now. So that's how layer ordering works. If you want to duplicate layers, there's a couple ways that you can do that. So I'm going to pull this one out, and this is layer 5. All I got to do is click and drag onto the new layer button. It'll create a copy called whatever your layer name was, and then copy. And hit Control Z to delete that one. You can also go into the options menu, and just right here, and then you can duplicate layer right here. You can also delete the layer as well in the options menu. So now it is duplicated. And when you have a layer that has artwork in it and you're trying to delete it, you'll get this pop-up. You can hit yes. And to not have that pop-up, you can drag over top of the trash can. And Illustrator pretty much does that in case you made a mistake and accidentally clicked the trash can or the delete selection button. So that's it for this tutorial. Yep. I went over the layer basics, and I'll go over some more things in the next tutorial. So go ahead, give the video a thumbs up if you learned something, if you really liked it. And thank you everybody for watching. Have a good day.